This is the Conversation Project, your home for headlines, also news, information, and pop culture references that are worth chatting about. Today, we are still chatting about Charlie Kirk, and we will be chatting about Charlie Kirk for a while. Right now, we'll take you to the updates on the search for the manhunt for the man who shot him. Spoiler alert, not found yet. Also, some Madison Cawthorn news. He's back in the news, not the way he wants to. And your last chance to see John Cena may be interrupted by cash, which is to be expected, you will. And plus five other stories, eight stories for this Friday, the 12th of September, to get to you that are conversational. And we hope that you enjoy it as well, because you help us pick us out by engaging with these stories in our feeds on our social media so we know a better chance of what stories to talk about. So you are partly to blame. You're welcome. Find us out at our website. This is theconversationproject.com. Find more about us, I should say, at our website because we're already there. You can see more details about our origin stories and more stuff on what we do and where to find us. Plus, at our website, we have links to our partnerships page and our sponsorship page to help us keep the lights on around here. And there are many lights around here. You can help us out by going to our spotlight sponsor for the day, which is Ground News. This is theconversationproject.com. So that's Ground News. When you visit Ground News, you get a chance to get 40% off their news plans from them, and we get a small cutback to help us keep things going. As I said, the 12th day of September, 2025, eight stories on the way. Let's get into them right now. The shooter for Charlie Kirk is still at large. The manhunt is entering its third day. Now, officials released a rooftop footage of a hooded suspect who was fleeing after the Charlie Kirk shooting. The FBI says more than 7,000 people have come in with tips. It's $100,000 reward for being posted. They put out images from him just in the stairwell, things that they had on campus. And an image came out early this morning, I guess, I'm watching it now, of him walking through a neighborhood about a few blocks away from the university before activity happened. They've also found, as investigators, a bolt action rifle and trace evidence like palm prints and shoe prints near the campus to go after this. Governor and federal officials are urging public to avoid disinformation and make sure they're submitting actual photos and videos from the campus area to see what we can see, not just throw out lines right now, because this is not the time to just get your word out. That's because you think you have a shot of getting some fame. This is time for real information to get things going forward. University operations have been paused for the weekend. The manhunt is widening across the state, even though authorities say he may have fled the state by now and don't know where he is. This may turn into another Luigi Mangione issue where they have some pretty good evidence, pretty good tracking to find him. They just have to take a couple days to actually find him, and he'll be, not where he started. No motive yet, no real reason for this one. They're analyzing physical evidence and digital leads to see what they can get from this one right now. It's still a tragedy, still a sad thing. We will still talk more in detail about Charlie Kirk, or my feelings on Charlie Kirk, and the overall assassination and how people are taking this. But we do need more time to sort of process this, make this happen, because this is complicated. This is extremely complicated. It's not as simple as just saying bad man dies or good man dies. This is really, really complicated. So was Trump right? Tariffs revenues has hit $30 billion in August under Trump's reciprocal trade policy. 29.5 to 3 billion in August, roughly, says the Treasury's monthly Treasury statement. About $22.5 billion over year, new reciprocal tariffs are in effect. And so that revenue means a bigger spike. The monthly deficit we have is now 345 billion, 9% improvement versus last August, even as we have record levels going forward for payments. So that's good, right? Revenues are big. He's telling the truth. Trump is saying that the revenues are coming in the billions and we're making money, and we are making money. The CBO's monthly review notes customs duties are up sharply year to date, which means things cost more, which is why we're bringing more tariffs. Analysts actually caution that the higher tariffs at resident will also raise import costs on firms and consumers, and the inflation wild card heading into Q4. We've been talking about that for a while. Markets are watching what the market trends analysis will say for August into September, and whether the Feds will have this rate cut when they meet in about a week or so, because they want to slow things down. Trump wanted a rate cut, months ago, years ago, to make things go flowing because the money was free and heavy. But that also means the Fed, would basically be pouring into the inflation stuff by putting more money in for things that are existing in conditions that President Trump are making artificially bad because of the tariffs. This may be good news for people trying to buy houses. Mortgage rates dropped to a low in nearly 40 years for homes right now. Freddie Mac survey says a 30-year fixed mortgage rate of 6.35 is down from 6.5 last week, and the steepest drop in a year. Decline tracks a pullback in the 10-year Treasury yield as market rates are nearing a Fed cut or suspected Fed cut. We should probably see a Fed cut. We really need a Fed cut, and we'll see what happens in a week or so. Refinance and purchase applications ticked up as affordability for modestly improved for the summer highs, and the 15-year average slid down to 5.5, extending a multi-year easing trend on that one as well. Now, housing pros warn that relief could be temporary if the Fed surprises or yields rebounds post-meeting. Now, that means the Feds could not cut the rate, which will be a surprise and be a shock to the system, or they cut the rate and the yield doesn't really do anything because the market figures it out. We shall see when this happens or doesn't happen, how it works for houses. Insert Bond villain music here as Paramount and Skydance prepare an Ellison-Backed bid to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that Paramount Skydance, the newly reformed merged company, is preparing for a majority cash offer for Warner Brothers Discovery backed by the Ellison family. What WBD shares spiked 30% on this news. A combined portfolio would marry HBO and Warner Brothers with CBS and Paramount Plus. The assets would be all together, and antitrust puzzles will likely draw lots of scrutiny, as there were antitrust for CBS and Paramount and Discovery. Now we're going to see what happens when we add in, I guess, Warner Brothers Discovery. I'm mixing those metaphors. You get the point. All of these companies coming together to form like a Voltron to basically attack us in our pocketbooks. The timing appears aimed at a preempted plan for Warner Brothers Discovery to split its cable studios from streaming. So if they can purchase up these assets in this sort of a melee scrapping, it'll be cheap or be good or cheap and good. Probably not for us who have to pay for it. Financing remains a swing factor given that WBD's debt load and Paramount's balance sheet limits are existing. There are issues with how much debt Warner Brothers Discovery has, and Paramount Skydance just pulled off a deal. So they don't have a lot of money in the bank, in theory. No formal bid has been submitted. This is all rumor innuendo and maybe just something to keep us distracted from other things going wrong in the world. In the meantime, all your TV companies belonging to the same person is not a good thing. Quick moment to ask for your help. We need you to like, share, and subscribe to the work we're doing right here because it is what it is. It's good work. It's great work. It's good stuff. We want you to help us out in the process. Now, what we can provide for you is news stories that are conversations and a chance to vote them up, if you will, by going to our feeds on Facebook and X, and you follow us there as well. You can see what's trending, what's going on, what we're posting out there, and you can give us input on what to talk about. That wasn't it. Sorry. So we're doing good work, like it. And I'll know I'm doing good work. And we also will tell the algorithms that we're doing good work, share it with more folks. If we're doing good work, share with the like-minded people. Let them tell us that we're doing good as well on their way. And if you're not getting this natively in your field, simply subscribe so that you make sure you see it while you're watching us on Facebook, on X, or on the YouTubes. This show comes out live on those three platforms. We have videos and clips on TikTok and on YouTube. And of course, the feeds will give you stories every single 50 minutes to get you to engage with us. So like, share, and subscribe so you be a part and feel like you're a part of our news nerd nation. Madison Cawthorn is back in the news. The former congressman is actually back because he got arrested during some political comeback attempts that may be set back because of the arrest. Authorities in Lee County, Florida, arrested Madison Cawthorn for a warrant for failure to appear tied to an August suspended license case in neighboring Collier County. Cawthorn said he was processed and released shortly after. Local outlets report he's floated a congressional run in Florida's 19th district. Comeback may see a setback. The arrest adds legal turbulence to the past nascent comeback effort from the post-2022 defeat in North Carolina. Court records indicate that he missed the hearing stemmed from an August 19th traffic charge. Simple thing that was simply missed, I guess, and could come up to bite him in the butt. Campaign's side indications hinge on whether the case triggers additional Florida penalties. We shall see if it makes life worse for Mr. Cawthorn. Life at HBCUs yesterday wasn't so great because many of them dealt with lockdowns after threats raising campus securities across the nation. There were campus security threats across the nation in general, but six HBCUs at least were issued lockdowns and shelter-in-place orders that were reported to the news for potential threats. The guy says that many appear to be hoaxes, but they all were taken seriously in the moment. They affected campuses including Alabama State, Virginia State, Hampton Southern in Baton Rouge, Clark Atlanta, and nearby Spelman in Georgia. Now, they all took precautionary matters, and some schools canceled classes and events. No injuries, no serious issues were reported at any of these places. This episode echoes prior waves of threats against HBCUs happening through 2022 and 2024. This is something I experienced myself as I work at an HBCU here in Arkansas, and there were a week where essentially we got bomb threats and all sort of things for 3 out of 5 days in a week for all of the HBCUs that were here. That was a rash of things going across the nation as well. It's not a joke. It's very serious, and things, number one, from the disruption part of things, and two, just the safety version, what's happening. Russian leaders condemned the threats and pressed the DOJ for swift actions. Whether they were tied into the Charlie Kirk type of dealings, no one can really tell. You can't even tell what the motive was in that shooting on its own, and that was a white guy doing the shooting. What we do know is these things aren't funny, aren't anywhere near as enjoyable as you think they are. If you get some laughs out of it. These are serious actions that could cause serious issues. John Cena's MSG February tour show has been impacted by skyrocketing ticket prices from the WWE. On November 17th, MSG billed John Cena's Raw appearance as the last appearance in the Garden, the last time to see the 17 unseen champion, and rolled out pre-sale ticket prices in the platinum level seats at over $1,000. Ringside, about 800 plus. That's a lot of money to go see John Cena and a bunch of other players that may or not be as important. Even upper level seating in the Garden would be 190 to 275. Many tiers selling fast during pre-sale because they want to get a chance to yay or boo the champ one last time. So now let's capture some screenshots showing $2,300 to $3,000 options from the VIP packages and dynamic pricing all kicked in. Thank you, Ticketmaster. Fans are venting about add-on fees and platinum practices because WWE's 2025 slate has been bolstering, has been big, has been expensive. Madison Square Garden and World Wrestling Entertainment pages confirmed the date and last time ever at MSG billing. So no more shots of John Cena on his retirement tour. Maybe he'll do a guest tour someplace. Maybe he'll pop up, as a thing when he's in a movie. But no more wrestling. No more as an official member of the audience or member of the roster after this one. He is done at the end of this year. It's done, I think, well, this is November, so December is definitely done with final appearances. So you want to see him one last time at MSG, it's apparently going to cost you, or anywhere, as all prices across WWE are on the rise. The gender gap pay is widening again as women lose ground for men for a second year straight. A census reports that female to male earnings ratios for full-time year-round workers fell to 80.9% in 2024, down from 87.7% in 2023. That's a pretty big jump. Second straight year of annual decline of this level. Men's earnings actually rose 3.7%, although I don't feel it in my paycheck. Women showed statistically significant changes, if not being stagnant, dropping quite a bit. Advocacy groups call it a reversal after decades of slow progress. Several highlight the steeper gaps for Black people and Latino women in particular. If you're a woman, you're getting paid less. If you're Black and Latina, you're getting paid even less. Now, newsrooms are linking the shift to industry mixes, caregiving pressures, uneven wage gains during post-pandemic cycles. Women have a extra burden of stuff. They just do. It's natural. It's there. You can call it some of the traditional stuff. You can call it a trad wife curse, if you will. Some of the traditional trappings of being a woman in the workplace make it harder for them to make money on an even scale. and right now being at 80.9. Last year it was about 83 cents. 2 year full dollar makes a difference. Thank you for being a part of what we did today. The show means a lot. It does a lot. It does what we can for folks. I want to thank folks out there, including Glenn Gilbert, who once again popping in with a hello this morning from Knoxville, Tennessee. Thank you, Glenn, for showing up. We appreciate that. Now, Glenn, if you are a real diehard news nerd and you want more deep detail, you and the rest of the folks out there watching this thing live or in the replay can get more news and get better news from other places. I say better. Better is really a kind of relative term. But if you're a person who has a siloed news source, let's say you're a Newsmax lover and you do all your Newsmax stuff, maybe a little bit of OAN just add into it. You're getting news that is slanted because they're all slanted. You get news that is slanted to the right. And so, what is the folks on the left actually talking about? What are they actually saying? And is your coverage actually equitable and fair? Ground News will help you figure that out. You can take a look at the news articles from various different sources, and they'll tell you these sources behind the sources, who's funding them, who's running them, and who's giving them their backings and their running orders, if you will, their bullet points. It's very simple, very easy, very good to see. You can see headlines that are compared to each other. You can see some news bullets. You can see what the left may be saying, the right isn't, the right is saying, and that the left isn't. And you really do a better job of that. The blind spot feature as part of their Vantage plan. You get to see what stories are being overly covered by a certain tone of reader, listener, watcher, and undercovered by the other tones. It's that simple. And you get these great things for local, for national, and for international stories at great prices. And not only are the prices great, we have a deal to give you even better prices. 40% off all their plans. Your Vantage plan is now less than $10 a month. The basic plan is $1 a month. You can get great news coverage and overly news coverage for folks who don't get enough news. So, Glenn, Gilbert Glenn, if this is your bag, check it out. Go to this. It's a conversationproject.com. That's ground news. I get hiccups when it's time. Oh, the actor. And can't reach a cough button. That's not a good showing, Gilbert Glenn. I apologize for that. That one is on me. I'll do better next time. But if you do want to get that website link, it's this. It's conversationproject.com/ground news. This conversationproject.com/ground news. Also, stop our website, click on the partnerships or the sponsors page for more sponsors and a chance to only have a little bit to keep us going. Not that this is any pressure or anything, but creativity in the internet takes time, takes effort, takes resources. I don't have a long list of names to roll out for you. That's going to take a couple days to get into. But guess what? We do need some help. So if you think we're doing well enough that you can give us a little bit to help us get better, we appreciate that immensely. Today, this episode of Things You Might Have Heard has been produced for Friday, September 12th, 2025. I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and I'm clearing my throat because I've got things going on today. It's been a long, crazy week. And as we are still decompressing with some of the action of the week, I just want to take a little time to, one, take time to say thank you for being a part of our family because this thing does not happen out the 25 eyeballs, although I'm sure 18 are bots that are checking this thing out in the live version and whoever checks out on the replay. We've been getting a lot of response on replays lately and a lot of comments on some of our stories that I didn't think would make a big hit. So it shows that I'm picking things that people really want to have conversations about, not just the big headlines, the stories, which is what we're looking for. The second thing I want to do is just remind you that we need to be a nice person. We need to be better people. We need to, kind of get things together. We will do our big Charlie Kirk extravaganza for the weekend. So something going on about how my feelings towards Charlie Kirk, personally, professionally, whatever, and how we are taking it in with what's going on, and how the tone isn't quite right in what we're doing. There should be less of one thing and more of other things, and it should be spread evenly across all of us. We're not quite tuning it properly. So we'll do that for the weekend. But in the meantime, watch your tone. Watch what you're saying. Watch what you're doing. I had to turn away, not quite turn off yet, a person I follow on social media who I'm a big fan of. I'll say a she because it is. This is a person who has persevered, who has done great things, who survived some stuff. And then I got a chance to sort of see who she really was in some of her thinking, in what she's thinking on Charlie Kirk, and we don't agree on the thinking. But some of the things she shot back were for a person who's known for being nice and awesome and making people feel good, sort of in the vein of pain and a vein of being upset and going back and forth, mixed in with the fact that I'm not a fan of Charlie Kirk's ideas. So we needed to take a little pause, take a little breather, take a break. Bomb threats at HBCUs is not fixing anything. Yelling at other people and celebrating the loss of life of a person who you see as someone you disagree with, and people call him adversary, even though they've never met the guy, is ridiculous. And that is the overarching point. Yet there are some points to the things that Charlie Kirk said and the rhetoric that's being ratcheted up that I'll give you my opinion on, that you and I can argue on here in comments, and then we're going to meet you out in open. We'll have a beer. We'll go to the Flying Fish and get some catfish and have a beer sometime. Let's do that. Let's put that in the box. Gilbert, come to Little Rock, Flying Fish. It's on me. Got it. So Friday, September 12th, 2025. Thank you guys for being with us, sticking with us, and dealing with some of the Cleveland things going forward. Love you. Mean it. We're going to regroup, do some stuff this weekend, and have hopefully better news to talk about on Monday, because this end of this week has been a bit depressing. See you live Monday morning.